For 5 weeks now, the American media have reported on the search for the still missing Malaysia Airlines jet, and so have the Chinese media, but from a different perspective. For the Chinese, this story is in some ways more personal and more difficult to cover. More than 150 of the passengers on board that flight were Chinese, and the plane was headed for Beijing. Their story is one of pain and desperation. So how has the Chinese media approached this story? And are the reporters there freer than we might think to tell the story? Jim Spellman is a Washington-based correspondent for CCTV, China's English language channel. And he used to work here at CNN, so he has the perfect perspective to share with us on this. Jim, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So I'm guessing you still watch some CNN. You've seen some of the plane coverage here in the United States.
I'm as hooked as anybody. I've been watching as much as I can. Yeah, absolutely.
So how does it compare to the level of resources that Chinese media have devoted to this story?
CCTV, our English language networks, we've had about 8 crews out in the field, plus our anchors in Beijing, our anchors here in Washington, covering this story. That includes our correspondent Yang Yiwan, who has been on the Chinese search ship Haishan 01 for over a month now. We've heavily invested in covering this story.
Do you have a sense of how much Chinese citizens are paying attention to this story as opposed to American citizens? Any sense of that?
Oh, I mean, it's a huge story, absolutely, no doubt, especially
even in the 6th week of it, huh?
In the 6th week of it, I mean, this plane was flying to Beijing, so there's just natural interest there. And there's also been natural interest in the authorities to speak to the Chinese audience. The defense minister of Malaysia gave an exclusive interview to our correspondent, James Chow, and he said in the beginning of it, I want to do this because I need to speak directly to the Chinese people. I think it's an audience on this story, but increasingly on many stories that you just can't ignore.
Have you noticed any hostility in the U.S. media toward some of the Chinese officials or toward some of the information that's been released by China about this?
Well, I think that there's a sense, almost a narrative that has built, that if it's coming from the Chinese, it somehow is part of a big propaganda campaign or some sort of, secrecy or something. When in fact, I may be wrong, I believe the U.S. has released 0 satellite photos, and I believe the U.S. has allowed no reporters on their P-8 search plane, which was in the mix there.
We've talked recently on this program about how Russia Today, that cable channel, presents Russia's point of view here in the United States and around the world. Do you feel similar pressures to present China's point of view because it's a state-owned channel?
We feel that it's important to include China in the mix in stories where China is relevant. So the plane is absolutely relevant. Something like the Ukraine, the Chinese position is essentially non-intervention. So that will be in some reports, but they aren't going to be driving the day-to-day of the story. We're more likely to include, say, them in context of the Security Council votes in the UN. But we certainly are not given, and I have never received any type of memo to, reflect some sort of party line.
What has the appetite been like, as far as you can tell, for alternative explanations for this plane disappearance, for conspiracy theories? Because we've had plenty of that here in the United States. Has there been a lot of that in China, and has that been reflected at all on television, on CCTV?
I'm not sure I can really speak to what that's been like within China in Chinese language media. I don't speak Chinese, but on our air, you'll see much, much less speculation. To a degree, it's almost unavoidable because in ways the search has been speculative. So we have experts on that will talk about the technology and things like that, possible routes, but we really have avoided speculation.
People hear about something like CCTV and they hear about the state funding of it, and they might be skeptical as a result. Do you sense any pressure on journalists to tell the story of the missing plane a certain way because it's funded by the Chinese government?
Certainly haven't. I mean, is there a Chinese way to describe how black boxes work? I mean, I think that largely it's not a story that has a Chinese perspective, I think, in a way. But in the details, I think that we bring to our viewers CCTV. It stands for China Central Television. This is not something we hide from. Viewers should know that that's who is funding it. We don't hide from that at all. We're proud of that. It's part of who we are. So they should know that on other more political stories, they probably will hear more of a Chinese point of view.
Jim Spellman, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.